Welcome to the Fayetteville Fire Department podcast, where we talk about all things fire-related, safety tips, and things that are happening in our can-do city. I'm Captain Stephen Shakeshaft, your host for the podcast, and we are joined today by Fire Chief Kevin Dove. How's it going, Chief?
Morning. How are we?
Good. One of the things that we've talked about wanting to do is every quarter, Chief Dove gives his quarterly report to the council and to management of all the things that are happening. And if you ever sit down and watch a council meeting, it's maybe 15 to 20 minutes of breezing through a lot of information. So what we want to do is have the opportunity to sit down with Chief and talk about some of the highlights from that report, things that are happening around Fayetteville, around the fire department, and maybe dive in deeper on a few little things. So hopefully, Chief, you'll be back with us every quarter.
No problem.
Hopefully the plan. So one of the big things, we always want to recognize folks who have given 30 years to the city, or those who are moving up as they progress through their 30 years. So we had some retirements and promotions that we highlighted. Chief, you want to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah. What people may not realize is for years in the 80s, 90s, even early 2000s, the fire department was a lot smaller, and so we would only hire 3 to 5 people a year. And now those are cycling out, and we lose a lot of experience when that happens. This quarter we lost 5 people, and I think I said together their experience was totaling over 140 years. So, but we thank them for their service. They're all healthy, and they're going to go on and enjoy their retirement and spend time with their family that they may have missed during their career, and we wish them well.
Yeah.
Thank them for their service.
And with those folks moving on to the next chapter in their lives, we talked a little bit last month or the month before. Me and Captain Cheetah had spoke about some promotions that came up. We're excited to see some folks take the helm in different areas. Just to touch on just a couple of them that are big changes. Chief Rick Meyer taking over the Deputy Chief of Operations position. What's that look like for him as far as just responsibility level from where he was to where he is now? To me, seems like that's one of those promotions that's a drastic change.
Yeah, well, he kind of drew the short straw because that was my position. And I still feel, I was born and raised in the operations division, so I still have a lot of vested interest in that. Obviously, I have interest in the whole department, but operations is my baby and my forte. So he's probably under a lot more scrutiny and a lot more watch than the other deputies. But we're working through that. He's doing a fine job. And he's probably the busiest guy on the department. His phone probably rings more than mine because he's responsible for everything operations. That's every fire truck rolling up and down the road. That's training. It's all the things that go on during the day. 324 of our 351 folks are in the operations branch, so he has the lion's share of that.
Yeah, and then moving up along as people move up at the top, more move up to fill those spots. Chief Altry and Chief Mafia, both of those taking over assistant chief positions. Congratulations to them. Now they cover, just for our listeners, they cover a shift and a special division or project as well.
Yeah, we have 3 operations assistant chiefs. Each have a program that they manage and a shift as well. So Chief Altry is now the hazmat program manager. He took that over for Chief Rick Meyer. And he also manages C shift, and then Chief Mafia will manage A shift and our EMS program.
And again, you talk about workloads. 60+% of our business is EMS, so Mafia's probably Chief Mafia has a lot on his plate with that program too, right?
Yes, but he has a background in EMS and a love for it, so it's a good fit. He's going to do a fine job. Very
cool. So just the other night, we had our recruit graduation, and one of the things that I loved to watch happen that night was some of our lieutenants who promoted. We'll talk about all of them, but one of them was Lieutenant John Robb, who promoted to lieutenant and has had the opportunity to kind of take the helm on the fire academy. And congratulations to him, and good luck, because that is a project of itself that is a whole lot of undertaking, right?
Yeah, I call him Mother Goose. It's fun. He's in charge of the little ducklings that we get and bring into the academy, and he's responsible for them, bringing them up, making sure they have what they need, making sure they're successful, making sure they're on the right path. So yeah, he has the outcome of his job affects us all at the end of the day, because that's what comes to shift and performs our business.
Yeah. We also had some operations promotions going through. Captain Andrew Bumgardner promoted from lieutenant to captain. Lieutenant Jeremiah Price Pecan making lieutenant. And one of my another very happy stories to hear is Lieutenant Ben Williams making lieutenant with us. He was one of our first or second group of lateral hires. So is he the first or the second lateral hire? One of the two to promote coming through that lateral process, where we gave him some credit. So he came to us with 10 years of experience at another agency, and we were able to work with him to give him some credited service. And now he can be that leader he was there here in Fayetteville and contribute to our city. I'm excited for that.
Yeah, we're happy to have him. He's a great asset. We're glad we were able to get him over to our organization, and we look forward to seeing what he does moving forward.
Cool. And then on my side of the house, you touched a little bit on Miss Marianne Murphy, who we have hired our first civilian community risk reduction specialist. And I've had a lot of people ask me about this and why we made this change. And I've said it before on previous podcasts. We have a history in the fire service, not the city of Fayetteville, but the fire service as a whole. If we need a job done, we teach a firefighter to do it. That seems to be any kind of job that needs to be done. We train our people to do those jobs. And this is a little different, because now instead of teaching a firefighter to be an educator, we're bringing in an educator to help us educate the community, and we'll teach her the fire side, fire safety of it. And that's going to give us a little bit of a different perspective. So what's your thoughts on that? It was your change. So
Yeah, I wish I could take credit for it, but I can't. Several departments in the region and the nation have done this. They've reached out to educators that are educators by trade, that have experience in building lesson plans and presenting materials and developing these things. And so that's what we decided to do. Like you said, firefighters can do anything, okay or good. Sometimes they can't do exactly what we want, and our firefighters have done a fine job, and they will continue, but we want to take it to the next level with our community risk reduction program. We want somebody to come in and be able to analyze each area, each pocket of our community. What is the risk there? What is affecting people? Then build a program to educate them and roll that out. And that's what we look forward to her doing. But we still have firefighters in the program. We're still doing our smoke alarm installations and canvases, our car seats, and all the things we always do.
And the firefighters will still be educating too. The goal is for her to develop programs and curriculum that the firefighters can even deliver.
Right.
So she's not going to be the one out teaching it all the time. She's going to be helping our people know how to present things and what to present as far as what risks we have. So I'm looking forward to that. She's actually in my shop, in my side of the house, and I'm looking forward to working on that. One of the highlights you had for the operations side of thing, while we're talking about community outreach and education, is everyone knows, well, at least we all know, and we try to tell everybody, that cooking and cooking fires are the number one cause of fire in Fayetteville. And you highlighted in your report that the number of fires that started in the kitchen is actually starting to come down. So these educational campaigns that we have with her, we've been doing these things, and it shows that they're working. We just want to make them work even better. Am I right there that things are looking good, and what we're doing is working? We're just trying to make it even that much better.
Yes. If you talk about fires starting in the kitchen, in previous years we were at 30, 35, 40% of our fires started in the kitchen from either unattended cooking or accidental problems in the kitchen. But we've seen about a 5% decrease per year, and now we're down to 25%, and we're looking to keep moving that, bringing that down some more. We've gotten aggressive with our hood system canisters that extinguish the fire when they're a magnet that you put up in your stovetop hood, and when they have a little fusible link, and when it gets hot, it opens up the canister and extinguishes the fire. So we're still pushing that. We're still pushing the education piece and the unattended cooking piece.
We actually just had a success story last week or the week before with one of those canisters that it actually, the individual in the home tried to put the fire out. There was still some damage, but the entire building didn't get damaged because of that hood suppression, that canister suppression system.
Yeah, that was a big win because that was an apartment complex, and it wouldn't have only affected that family; it would have affected many families due to that incident. So we were happy with that.
That's awesome. And still kind of on the operations side of things, EMS calls 60 plus, somewhere between 60 and 70% of our business. We are running those. It's amazing when you look at these numbers. Not a lot of people take the time to sit down and look at these numbers, but just in a quarter of the year, right? That's what these numbers are, just for 4 months.
These numbers are year to date, calendar.
They're year to date.
So,
Okay.
So yeah, we track those. We don't break those up into the quarter. We keep those rolling from January 1 on.
So just from January 1 to now, we're almost 9,500 just EMS calls. And I speak to people on the street all the time while I'm out recruiting that they don't realize that we are even EMTs. And 9,500 almost EMS calls. Our folks are out there working.
Yeah, we don't just go to fires. Us older folks, it was kind of the thing. Firefighters sat around and played checkers till the fire alarm went off. But we're so much more than that now. We're truly an all hazards department, and EMS is a large part of that. I mean, you talk about fire, EMS, hazmat, rescue, community risk reduction, emergency management, all the things that the fire service does. Basically, if you have an issue and don't know who to call, you call the fire department. They come in and figure it out. And we like that title. We like that title. We like fixing things. So, but yes, EMS is a large part of our business. Folks often ask, why is a fire truck here? I call it an ambulance. Well, what they don't realize is that all the firefighters in our organization are EMT certified, and there are a lot more fire trucks than there are ambulances, and we're a lot closer, so we can get there and start that care and make a difference that way.
And running those tens of thousands of calls a year is our men and women on the fire trucks every day. That's something that we focus on heavily. Our number one resource is the folks on those fire trucks. And you talked a little bit about staffing at the city council meeting, and we know that we have staffing challenges. We're not immune to the nationwide staffing challenges, but the good news is that I hope we see a little bit of light at the end of the tunnel. Things are looking good for the future for us. You noted on here that it was 21 vacant positions, but that really isn't a true reflection because it takes 6 months to get firefighters on a fire truck once we hire them. And those folks graduated fire just this week. We had 19 people graduate fire academy this past week. Or 2 weeks ago now.
That 21 was on top of those folks.
Exactly. That's what I'm getting at is if you look at the report, it says we're 21 short, but in reality, we're over 30, almost 40 people short on the fire trucks every day. And again, this is a nationwide problem. We're not special. Everybody's struggling to keep folks, but we're actually on the uptick. We're in that mode of getting those folks finished, and we'll have somewhere in the neighborhood of 34 additional people on fire trucks by Thanksgiving, right?
That's your goal is November 1st is what you told me as a recruiter, and that's what I'm holding you to. That's my Christmas Day this year is getting those, let's just say 40 for a round number, folks on the street. We have struggled all summer, and we will struggle into the fall. We haven't had to close any units. We haven't seen a lack of service, but our folks have had to work a lot of overtime. They've they're committed to the organization. So when we need some help, they step up and do it. But they're getting tired, and we're just excited to get some fresh folks in.
And I'm glad you just said exactly what I was about to touch on is if you look nationwide at some agencies, they have what they call brownouts, where they may have to shut a unit down or shut a station down for a temporary period of time, leaving an area of their city less protected because someone's coming from further away. And we have not had to do that. We have not had to shut stations down. There's always a fire truck within a reasonable distance to get to you. That's something I'm very proud of as an organization, that we've been able to maintain that with the dedication of our people.
Yeah, well, it's also the city manager and the council. They are committed to maintaining our response posture, whatever it takes. So that gives me a little bit of leeway with overtime budgets and things like that. but we also have to have the commitment from our folks. And so everybody's pitching in right now, but we need to get them some relief, and we're doing our best to do that. And I'm not going to say we'll never have any brownouts like you said, but so far so good, and we're going to do everything we can to keep that from happening.
Yep, and on the upward tick, part of that number of somewhere between 30 and 40 folks reporting to shift in November is also as a result of our certified hiring process that we just ran, where we went out and sought out people already certified as firefighters, and we got 14, I believe is the number, that we're looking to bring on as part of that big group going to shift starting in September. So we'll have some folks that the city can save money on that training investment coming in and starting with us, where we can have them on a fire truck in 5 weeks rather than 6 months.
Yeah, it's kind of a ugly game. We're playing. The fire service, as you said, is seeing a downtick nationally in interested folks. So kind of what we've resorted to, and it's not just us, it's everybody, it's the game we play, is you almost poach folks from other folks. We're a good-sized city. We can offer some things that others can't. We have desirable equipment, and we have we're a good place to work, and people see that, so we're able to get them into our organization. And now we are able to provide them a little bit more money with their training, bring them in at a little higher than starting salaries. So, yeah, we were really happy with the number we got this go round, and it's going to help us greatly.
Looking forward to it. Kind of switching gears as we work through what you talked about on Monday night is something that I'm not very familiar with, is the prevention side of the house when it comes to inspectors, fire inspections. What people don't realize, they may think, oh, I own a business and I have to have this fire inspection done, and it seems like a hassle to some folks, but it really is vital that fire code was put in place for a reason. There's been major incidents over the course of American history that has led to having these fire codes to keep the community safe, because if it's a commercial building, there's a lot of people there, which increases the danger. And I know we're looking right now to hire an additional fire inspector. How's that process going along?
It's going well. One of the things I was tasked with when I took over is, you have to do a deep dive into everything the organization's doing and just see where we're at. And we saw a little bit of deficiency in our fire inspections division. As you said, it's the lifeblood to what we do. I mean, you want your kids to be safe when they go to school. You want your family to be safe when they go out shopping or on the roads or in any building, or if they stay overnight in a hotel. You want them to be safe, and you want the last thing they have to worry about is fire safety. So that's where our inspectors come in. They take that to heart. They do a good job. There is code. There's not much movement in the code, and it's our job to enforce that. So once we got to digging in, we found that we were a little bit behind on our state-mandated inspections. It's not because we were goofing off. It's because the city's seen a lot of growth and the inspections division hasn't. So we were able to show that to city management, and they offered us an additional position, which we're looking to hire so we can get caught up in where we need to be to make sure that the community safety stays at the forefront. And we hope to have that person hired early September, and hopefully have them on the road doing inspections, I would say, by mid-October.
Awesome. And when we talk about community safety and making sure those codes are safe for our folks, we also want to think about just having it be a thought process in the citizen's mind or in a young person's mind. So one thing that we're very proud of is our teen CERT camp that we also did this past quarter. Do you know how many? I can't remember how many teens showed up to that
18.
So CERT means Community Emergency Response Team. And what that is a group of individuals who, in the event of an emergency, are there as a resource that can help emergency responders do what we call windshield assessments, assess damage in what areas we need to focus on. They can help us with food distribution. They can help the Red Cross with their things. There's a million things that they can do. And if we can get young people involved in that program, that's going to make the young people who are influencers in their circle of young people think about these topics, these issues facing our community, and have that in the back of their brain when they see something where they can address it or help us mitigate those things. And I'm really proud of that program. Chief Alvarez has taken the helm on partnering with CERT, which is its own organization, and we thank him for that because he's done an awesome job of building that up. What are your thoughts on how that program's looking for the future?
Oh, it's a wonderful program, and we're going to do everything we can to keep it moving and grow it. Like you said, Chief Alvarez was kind of the pioneer of it. He'll be retiring this winter, so we're going to have to lean on somebody else. We've already got that person picked out. They may or may not know it. But this program, this year we had 18 9th through 12th graders. That's the target group. And it's a very diverse group. Some of them are come from affluent neighborhoods and have had a very easy life, and some of them haven't. Some of them are troubled, and some of them have had a rough go of it. And we don't care about that. We want everybody to have the same opportunities. We get them in. We give them a week's worth of valuable life skills. Really, it's not just the law enforcement side or the fire side. It's a lot about life too. We've got so many partners in this. The North Carolina State Fire Marshal's Office gave us a grant to put the program on, which was very helpful. We were able to expand our week a little bit and include some more things. Cape Fair CERT, which is our local CERT group, is a key player in it, obviously. Fayetteville Police Department came and spent a day with us. Cumberland County Sheriff's Office came and spent a day with us. The Highway Patrol. Cape Fear Valley Hospital was involved. Their trauma program came over and taught Stop the Bleed and some other medical stuff. And Marius Maximus Foundation for Mental Health was a key player in that as well. And Stony Point Fire Department, they always help us out. They play a great role. Our folks took a field trip to their fire department and actually did a water barrel fight. So they actually got to use the fire hose and go against each other with the barrel on the string, up on the cable, and it was a good time.
One of the things you brought up that just kind of got my mind turning was the kids from different backgrounds and coming from all over the city. One of the things that I focus on in recruitment is that someone who was raised in Fayetteville and lived in some of the neighborhoods in Fayetteville, if they're given the right tools by the community, they are better to work on solving the problems and making the community better than I am, who didn't raise up in that community.
Yeah, one of the I don't want to trademark it or anything, but I've said it several times. Fire does not discriminate, and neither do we. Neither does EMS emergencies or anything else. So we have to. Everybody needs to know the basic stuff to keep you safe. Everybody deserves that. It doesn't matter who you are or where you come from. That's our goal, is everybody gets the same treatment, they get the same education, and they deserve that. I mean, like I said, fire does not discriminate, neither do we.
And when you're coming from a community, who better to help us work on those community risk reduction initiatives and solve those problems than people from that community? So I'm excited to see those folks, those young people, stepping up and taking part of this process. But before I get on a tangent about recruitment, because that's not what today is about, is there anything else really in your presentation that stands out that you want to make sure we get the message clear to everybody that we missed?
Smoke alarm installations. This quarter, the second quarter, that was April, May, and June, we installed 694 smoke alarms free of charge. We replaced 29 batteries. That means we went to the house, met with the folks, looked at their alarm. It was still in date. It was still serviceable, but the battery needed to be replaced, so we did that for them. We installed 80 carbon monoxide alarms in houses and 16 of those stovetop fire suppression units like we talked about. We're very happy with that, but we're not done yet, because there are still houses in this community that do not have working smoke alarms, and that is just not acceptable, because, again, fire does not discriminate. So everybody, no person, no matter what their circumstances are, should lay their head down at night without a working smoke alarm. That is the bare minimum security that anybody should have in their life. So we ask anybody within listening voice, if you haven't checked your smoke alarm lately, do not have a working smoke alarm, please reach out to us. We will come and do it for free. If you don't live in the city, we will get you in contact with the neighboring county department that does the same thing. We will get you a smoke alarm. And that number is 910-433-1730. And if you call, we'll be there very shortly after the call.
Awesome, Chief. Well, but before we get gone this month, I wanted to change things up just a little bit. Rather than doing a safety message of the month, I wanted to touch on just a few key events that are coming up. September and October is some of the busiest times around the Fayetteville Fire Department and around the city of Fayetteville. Coming up on September 14th, we have the annual 9/11 Memorial Stair Climb. You will have the opportunity, if you would like to participate, to climb the exact number of steps, take the exact number of steps that firefighters who made it to the top of the towers on 9/11 took all around Segra Stadium. So if you are interested, don't hesitate, jump online. You can find the information on our Facebook page for the 9/11 Memorial Stair Climb, which will take place Saturday, September 14th, because we want to do it on a Saturday so everybody can participate. Also coming up as we get into October is Fire Safety Week. Fire Safety Week is a week-long full of events and opportunities for the firefighters to get out into the schools and into the community to get that fire safety message out, and it all kicks off with Fire Safety Day on October 5th. So we will be out with our partners in the county and our partners from Fort Liberty in the Gander Mountain parking lot on October 5th for Fall Safety Day. Keep an eye out for updates and information on that. Also, skipped right out of September, the Valor Awards, September 10th, correct? September 10th is the Valor Awards at Manor Church, where we recognize firefighters from all around the county, not just the city of Fayetteville. Manor Church partners with the Fayetteville Chamber, correct? Fayetteville Chamber for the Valor Awards. So we are looking forward to that. We have all sorts of great stuff. Keep an eye on our social media. Keep an eye on our website. And effective just the other day, we have launched on Instagram. So you will see Instagram as well popping up from the Fayetteville Fire Department.
And don't forget, we take on the Fayetteville Police Department in our softball game.
Yes.
I think it's Friday night, October 25th at Segra. They beat us up pretty bad last year, so we're going to see what we can do about that this year.
Yeah, we're coming back.
Yeah.
Things are going to be a little different this year. We're coming for you, police. All right. Well, thank you for joining us on the Fayetteville Fire Podcast. Be sure to subscribe to Radio Fayetteville on your favorite streaming platform and listen to all of our podcasts. Join us again next month, but until then, stay safe, Fayetteville.